All right, today I'm going to tell you about the time that I tried to get a job at the guitar store. Now, I don't know why. My parents, both of them, ever since I was like 12 years old, have pressured me like almost every week, not even to get a job. Because if you didn't know, my mom and dad both started working when they were really young. Like my dad said that his first job was at a restaurant when he was like 7 years old, and my mom's first job was when she was 10 working in a factory. Nowadays, I don't even think you can do that young. I actually have no idea because when I was in middle school, that's when my mom was like, oh, you need to get a job. You have to learn to, work and be a hard worker. You got to, get out there, walk into places and get a job. But I think the legal age to work, like I wasn't even like, that was the problem. Like initially, like I wasn't old enough to work. I was like 12, 13. I think you needed to be like at least 16 years old. I'm not so sure. I think it was like 14 or 16. I don't know. But then after you reach that age, you need working papers by like the school, and like it's like this long process. But anyway, I went through like this whole process after whatever age I turned. And my mom's like, oh, you got to walk in there. You got to act confident. They'll give you the job. It worked for me in the past. That's all I did. I just walked into jobs and said, hey, you need help. But you want to know what happens? And here's another thing I can't stand. People saying how easy it is to get a job now. It was hard. It was the hardest shit to get a job, Even like these garbage jobs, it's the most difficult thing. Like, oh, because the way the world is now, everyone's looking for work now. Everything's, I don't know. Like, I just keep seeing that everywhere and like hearing that. Like, people are saying it's like the easiest time to get a job right now. But I call bullshit on that 100%. But yeah, I mean, I got the papers, whatever I needed, took forever. And that's when I started looking for jobs during high school. Because my mom literally every day, she was like, you need a job now. You have to learn what it's like to be an adult. You have to blah, blah, blah. And I would literally, like, she'd drive me around. I'd go to places. And she would tell me, like, oh, just walk in there, act confident and tell them, like, hey, are you looking for somebody, like that kind of shit, like asking for a job. So we would spend the day going to places, and all these fucking people, every single one of these people told me to go online. Like, I'd literally go there, they just look at me and say, go online. And that's it. I never got one interview walking in. Not one single interview walking into these places. And my mom got pissed off. Like, I would come back to the car and she was like all pissed off, like, oh, So this is what we did. We just like applied. My mom like applied for me to all these places, and I got nothing back. Like, no calls, no anything back during my whole like high school time. Like, I never had a job in high school. I was supposed to have one, but I just never got one. Like, literally nobody called me back, nobody emailed me back, nothing happened. All the places, you wouldn't believe, I probably went to at least like 30 places, Like, me and my mom just like she's just driving me around, like when I was a teenager. And one day she was like, oh, maybe you should go to the guitar shop. Like, she kept like talking about that, like, oh, because there's a guitar shop like not that far from my house. And she was like, oh, you need to go to the guitar shop, you're gonna love it there. Ask them if they need any help, if they need if they need somebody. And I was already thinking in my head from like all the jobs that like or the people that just told me to go online, that it was like pointless, because I never had one interview when I was in high school for a job. Like, they just literally looked at me like they all said the same thing, looked at me with like a blank stare and said, go apply online. And then just like, that was it, I would come in there like all nice and kind, like, hey, I'm looking for a job, can you help me out? And then they'd be like, go online. But yeah, I walked down to this guitar shop, and it was like a guitar repair place. I didn't know how to repair guitars, and my mom was like, oh, just tell them you're eager to learn. They like that. They like confidence. They like, so she was like, tell them, you're eager to learn, you can learn it. And I was like, all right, might as well. So I walked in there. It was like kind of awkward. It was the smallest shop I've ever seen in my life. Like, it was so small, guys. And I walk in there and I said, hey, I'm looking for a job, like all that shit, like introducing myself. And the dude, literally, it was this old dude. He just started laughing. He's like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, dude, this is the most dead store ever. We don't need anybody. And then that's when I told him like what my mom said, like, oh, I'm eager to learn. I can. And then he just started laughing even more. He's like, you don't even know how to fix guitars and you're coming here. And like, he just made me feel like shit. Fuck that guy. Like, seriously, he just made me feel like shit. He was just laughing at me. He's like, why would you even come down here if you don't even know how to fix guitars? Ha ha ha. You know? And I just went home. And to make it even worse, I went home, and my mom, she was talking. She was like, oh, how'd it go? And I was like, the dude, like, I told her what happened, and she didn't believe me. Like, she thought that I didn't go, or that, like, that didn't happen, or, like, I didn't try or some shit. And, like, she got all mad. She's like, oh, you're making shit up. That didn't happen. Even though the dude literally just fucking laughed in my face and said, like, yeah, we don't need anybody. This is a dead store. It was like one of those mom and pop shops where it was like owned by like a person or some shit. I don't know. But the store, like, you could tell it was a dead store. Like, seriously, who goes to a guitar? Like, he's kind of right. You know, I kind of thought about it. Like, who's breaking their guitar anytime soon? You know, he probably gets like one customer a day, if that. You know, how is he going to pay me, and why would he even want me on board? You know, but he just made me feel like shit. And then, like, after that, I was still looking for jobs. And then eventually, like, my mom gave up, you know, like, because she was literally with me, like, some of the times, like, getting a job, like, just sitting in the back, like, watching me, like, interact with these people, and them just telling me to, like, get the fuck out and go online. And my mom was like, yeah, just wait till you're out of high school, you know. And I did, and then I literally finally got my first job, which took for fucking ever too. Like, I had to apply online, and after I applied online, they literally didn't message me back. So I walked in there with my friend, because we both went for the job, and we were like, fuck it, let's just walk in, you know. Finally, like, it was like weeks after we submitted that shit, we walk in, and the dude's like, oh, hey, who are you guys? And then finally, like, he looked at our resumes. He's like, oh, I guess I can let you on board. Like, he could tell he didn't want to. Like, he was literally, like, telling us, like, you know, it's a little bit of hard work. I don't know if you guys are looking for this kind. Like, he was just, like, stalling and being weird. And me and him were just like, we want this. And he was like, I don't know. It was just weird. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It was just a weird interaction. But we eventually got the job, finally. And that was that. That was my first job, like, that I had. But it shouldn't take that fucking long, you know. And this is not the old world. You can't just walk into places and say, hey, can I have a job? That doesn't work anymore. Every job I'm going to do from now on is all going to be online. Maybe I'll follow up if they don't fucking get back to me, like always. Because I did work once, you know, like I said, for that job. But that dude was being a dick too. He literally was like, you know, I don't know if you guys want this job. It was just so weird. It's like he didn't want us there. And he eventually, I guess, like, caved in and, like, hired us. But it was like, a weird... You had to be there to, like, see it. It was fucking weird. But, I mean, yeah, my mom was working since she was 10 years old in a fucking factory. You could not do that nowadays, you know? This is a different world. I can't stand these older generations who, like, belittle all these fucking kids and tell them how easy everything should be. It's bullshit. It's complete bullshit. I can't even imagine if you're a teenager finding a job now. I mean, Jesus Christ. Probably not even I don't even know. They're probably not even looking for anybody, you know? But, I mean, yeah, finding a job, it's not easy at all. It really isn't. It sucks. But, I mean, I have one now, so, I mean, you know, that's that. But it still sucks. Like, the process is just bullshit. It really is.